Good evening, good morning, good day. I don't know, whatever time you're watching this and you're doing your small group Bible study, we're welcoming you to Connect Church, Connect Groups. Now, as you know, I'm Pastor Jean, one of the associates at Connect. And, we're in our series, Max Lucado is Be Anxious for Nothing. Now, today, we are now picking up, and we are in chapter 7 and chapter 8. And what we'll be dealing with is great gratitude and also God's peace and your peace. Now, one of the things about this we're going to be talking about today, your teacher's going to be working with you on, is what is gratitude? Oftentimes in our lives, we want to say we're gracious. We want to say we're happy for what we have, but we really aren't. Because our flesh is telling us we want more. How many times have we found ourselves, well, if I had this, if I had this, if I had this, and I used to say if I was a kid, I was younger, if I had $1 million, I would do this. But then I realized I wasn't ready for it. And I had a lot of stress trying to get things I wasn't ready to handle. Because if I had, I would not be in the situation or where I could do what I'm doing now. I believe a lot of times that of things that we have anxiety for, what we're asking for, things that will move us further away from God than closer to Him. Sometimes we're saying, God, I don't want to be in the midst of certain things, or I don't want to struggle, and I want to have this, I want to go here, I want to do this, I want this job, I want this education. And God is saying, yeah, I do. I hear you, my child. But guess what? You're not ready to handle that, because what are you going to do with it when I give it to you? That's the question. Many of us know we're not mature enough. We weren't mature enough. Now some of us are coming to life and we're able to get those things. And God realizes that, listen, now I see you're focused on what you need to, which is Him. And in that, today we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be focused on having gratitude, being gracious for what you have right now. Okay? Because instead of us always trying to search and get more and get more and get more, get the bigger car, get the bigger house, get the better job, all these things that we're searching for, we miss what God is saying. And that is one thing, and that is just be grateful. Can you imagine being grateful? Can you imagine what it looks like? Those that raise children, when they're not grateful, how does that make you feel? It kind of makes you not want to do as much for them. But when they're gracious and grateful for everything, you will go all out for them because you understand that they respect it and respect you. But are we doing that with God? So we're going to be dealing with that, and then we're going to jump over into God's peace, your peace. See, and in being anxious for nothing, one of the things that we also end up doing is we find ourselves in situations where we create our own chaos because we're trying to seek happiness over peace. We're trying to seek happiness over joy. And see, when you have peace means that you can have peace in the midst of, like I told you, your chaos, in the midst of your storm, in the midst of whatever is going on around you. And also, peace gives you a calmness, be able to see clearly and operate and do the things that you should be doing. Because when we're high in anxiety, high in anger, guess what? We miss it. We're so busy running that we miss what God is saying. We miss what's going on around us. We miss the cues. We miss the signs. And what we want to learn how to do is have that peace. Have that peace that surpasses all understanding. We're going to be dealing with quite a few questions trying to understand what your peace looks like, because it looks differently to different people. I can have peace in the midst of a rowdy Atlanta United game. I can have peace in the middle of my Falcons losing. I can have peace in the midst of gunshots. I can have peace in the midst of people crying, in the midst of me losing someone that I love dearly. I can still find peace. People ask me, said, how is it you are still remain calm when people are going off on you? Because it's not about them, it's about God. And I find my peace and my refuge in Him. Can you imagine if you found your peace and refuge in God, and then everything else would seem so minuscule? Now, I'm still a work in progress, as we all are, but we can grow from that. So today we're going to work with our teachers, and we're going to be discussing God's peace and your peace. We're going to be discussing what it looks like to be gracious. So I look forward to hearing these discussions as we go further into it. This is your Pastor John. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Come and drop it in some of your classes. Love you and be blessed.